when we do get the deck list confirmed, the very sad thing is that Northern Realms is going to be the faction completely unrepresented at this Open, and that is heartbreaking to me. So let's just hope Mr. Slumber and Mr. Burza tomorrow come through with the goods and tell us that Sabrina's Inferno is now going to pierce armor. All these sorts of things. Right? I would really, really like to see that. Interestingly, Twitter poll, by the way, 74% in favor of Paj, 26 in favor of Gravesh. Makes sense. Paj being the world champion and Gravesh literally being called JustHeadbuttPlay can't have helped him out in this Twitter poll.
Yeah, like the name recognition definitely helps out a lot especially for those polls. But also, like, speaking of that whole NR situation, I mean, I don't think you could have gotten like a two bigger NR fanboy casters together in a call, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I jammed 2,500 games of Henselt only in beta.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
that is a lot of games.
Yeah.
I mean, Big Daddy Stella would have something to say, right? But
he was like, I think he was the only one that played like more Henselt than me in beta, to be honest.
Oh, we have got the deck lists. Graveshko, Line Pockets deck, first of all, with the Siggy, Reuven. He still has the Jack. He still has the Horseman. And of course, he still has the boat. No Heat Wave here for Colin Worm, apparently. So Colin here has the Assault for his Salamander tag, the Bloody Good Fun as well. And what does he have for his Blind Eye or his Firesworn? He doesn't have the Blind Eye or Firesworn. So it's actually Siggy 8 Prophet, which is quite an interesting one. Moving over to Rakaswarm, keeps the Triss, no Uridon, but instead having that Curse of Corruption, Double Bone Talisman, as well as the location. We look quickly at the Blaze of Glory. Nothing really standing out to me. No Hjalmar, no Turgvi, but has the Totem. And finally, Masquerade Ball has the coded weapons. We've seen Tailbot play. And going for the Albert Armored Cavalry over Slave Hunters. Look out for like struggling for proactivity, but certainly better into decks such as Syndicate.
Yeah, and I mean, Spessie's not really going for the endurance factor here in reviewing these deck lists, but yeah, line pockets. Yeah, I mean, this is typically what we've seen, and I know specifically on our team, like Green Knight's been a big proponent of the Siggy 8, is to not pollute your bronzes by running stuff like the street urchins and such. And in a lot of cases, you're fine with the 8, right? Like, it's easy enough to get that boat out. 8 profits just often more than enough. Tunnel Drill also has that 1 profit, so you're not often losing out on that extra coin, really.
The other way you could go about it is doing the thing that Spyro did in qualifiers, which is use the Devotion card, which gets you the Salamander tag and Firesworn. But it's a bit of a tactical nuke in your own hand that you're going to top deck into. Also, like the Horson Jr. in this deck would suggest a Skellige ban could be on the cards. But then you look at the Arachaswarm and you see no Uridon, so that seems to make less sense. What do you think Gravesh is going to be? Sorry, what do you think Colin is going to be banning here?
You mean butt play?
I
think butt play likes to be more flexible in his bans. It seems, like he can take the option to kind of ban out a couple different things and kind of like adjust to his opponent's lineups for the most part. I think the curse can definitely still be good. A curse can actually be, not oftentimes, but almost always better than Uridon, obviously, in the Skellige matchup. So you don't just have to ban out Skellige in terms of like, what the Horson Jr. would suggest. But I don't know. I think it just allows him to be, kind of like look at the deck list as a whole and just kind of go with the flow more, so to speak. I don't know if
this Curse of Corruption in the Arachaswarm, instead of the Uridon, is going to help against like these things we've been seeing, like the TA Dunker. If you've got that extra tool punish, we saw how nice that worked out for Tailbot, having access to that second one. Also, against Keltalis, it's going to give you that way of getting through the defender without having to play like this random Purify card in at 5p. So I do like this approach. I do obviously worry about the lack of Uridon. Like if an AQ mirror was to prop up, you would certainly favor a man with Uridon in the deck over somebody without it.
Yeah.
Blaze of Glory, nothing really stands out to me. I don't know about you. But Paj's decks. Here we go.
Yeah. Following that up, I think his Blaze of Glory is like very standard overall. And we kind of see that when we shuffle on over into Paya's decks really quick, is they're like very similar, almost. It feels like a mirror image in a lot of cases. But yeah, line pockets kind of going with that. Again, that no Triss version here. Again, yeah, rolling with the Kurt. I know Paya has talked a lot about his like for Kurt after that series with Shaggy in the qualifiers.
Yeah. It was
So-
really interesting because it's a game that I actually casted it with Saber. It wasn't an official cast. We were just watching the game. And Kurt really put in some huge work for Shaggy. Shaggy was able to put the bounty onto Jack and then clean it up with the tunnel drawer while getting 6 coins to then use that for extra removal. And it really, really seemed great. And obviously, one thing I would say about Kurt as well is the fact that it gives you that ability to purify Defender against Kelly and then Heat Wave the Keltullus or the Dash, but no Heat Wave while still including the Kurt. I find particularly interesting. Kind of surprising, honestly. Not sure I like it.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt has a great amount of flexibility, right? Like you said, with the Keltullus matchup, Purifying Defender is really beneficial. Purifying a poison potentially in the mirrors could be really, really nice. Because most of these are going for like the Fistex Traffickers / sometimes Triss versions. And then also just applying a bounty, like in almost all other cases, right, is just really, really good. It allows your Tunnel Drill just to completely annihilate the board.
Completely.
I don't know. It's just such a moment, right? Like you get your bounty set up on the board, and then Tunnel Drill comes down, and then it just whoosh.
It goes
drills
yeah.
giant hole into the opponent's soul. So,
the Arrakis Swarm deck, I do believe, is exactly the same. Going for the Curse of Corruption over a card such as Uridon. The Skellige, I can't see a big difference. Only one Bear Witcher, but that double War of Clans. Again, taking the Totem Morkvarg over Turgvi and Hjalmar, which, yeah, makes sense to me. And then the Nature's Gift deck looks as pretty much standard as they come with that single Dragoon, and then kind of the rest of the cards almost pick themselves, I feel like. Pavko and Figures being the combo of choice in a lot of these decks.
So the only real slots in these Nature's Gift decks really is that poly slot, that 6-piece slot, where you sometimes slot in a Ciaran. And then in the past, we saw the Vryhead Dragoon more so for just like a value oak critters. But now that movements become, again, more into meta again, the Vryhead Dragoon is just really nice, and also for Council too. So, yeah, that's, typically what we see out of Nature's Gift these days.
Yeah, so the big difference, of course, being Paya having Nature's Gift, Gravesh having the Nilfgaard. Both guys bringing Skellige, which previously is a deck that they've not brought to qualifiers. In terms of bans, not sure which way both will go. Paya, they do already know like what coin they're going to be on. Paya is going to be going second. Gravesh going first, if memory serves correctly. That would also make sense in the way they show the deck list. Now, one thing I'll say, Quill, it's a little bit weird to me. They know what side of the coin they're going to be on before they do their bans. Because am I correct in thinking that's not the case in the semi-finals and the finals? But they coming into this matchup like yesterday, they already know what side of the coin they're on, and they could maybe tailor their ban to that. Whereas for the semi-finals and the final, they would ban and then find out what side of the coin they're on. I do believe certainly in qualifiers, right? Like you use the Aretusa ban tool, like you just put it all in and you say, okay, you've banned this, and this is what side of the coin you're on. So that's a bit of a weird one to me.
Yeah, because I know, like, specifically like going through the tourney client and such, you can either specify whether it's a fixed ban, and you can, manually assign the bans, or what often I do is I just kind of go for a random ban to ensure kind of like, the most, I don't know, fair, I guess. What is it? Just so players can't really expect, right? Because then, like, especially in my tournament setting, like you can't really just go and assign a coin because, in the long run, it's not really going to be fair for certain players. But yeah, that is actually very handy, knowing which coin you're going to be on right off the bat. It can allow you to kind of tailor.
Bans are in, Quill. Both players deciding to ban the Arrakis Swarm. Both players going for that ban. So Rakaswarm off the table. No Uridin in either of these guys' decks. Remember?
Don't mind me.
So both guys getting rid of the Rakaswarm decks, and Gravesh, remember, is going to be going first in this one. Chat, who do you think is going to take it? Do you think it's going to be Pajabol, or do you think it's going to be Colin? What do you guys think?
I believe we're both on opposite sides of this one, right?
Yeah, I said it was going to be Gravesh to begin.
Oh wait, we're both on the same side. That's no fun.
But I mean, I'm happy for either, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I love both these guys. Spent a lot of time together. Spent a lot of time with their mothers too, so it runs in the family.
Looking at the opening hands, Paya taking gift going second is like a not the kind of thing you would usually do, but of course having a whole day to prep to decide what you're going to ban, what you think your opponent's going to ban, and also what deck you're going to queue first. He's had lots of time to think about this. Gift usually a deck that likes to go first, mainly due to that TA on Dunker, but Paya taking it going second, draws the Gourd, which he's going to want to kick, and finds the Council. On Colin's side of the board, he has the ship. He finds the second ship, which is going to be a mulligan because of Raiding Fleet. Finds the Hunter. The Vabion can pull the Raiding Fleet. He has the Blood Eagle, Iced, and Morkvarg in hand. Morkvarg, remember, one of those few cards that cannot be tutored through the Blood Eagle, and one of those big bad boy gold cards already secured in the hand. So Gravesh's hand to me here is he's already got Harold as well. It's looking great, but if this round goes a long way, it could prove to be difficult. And also the stratagem here, Quill, not ideal for Colin. I didn't know it was called Colin.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing for butt play, right? Like, he's got to really still respect the round of gift. It's got one of the strongest round ones in the game, right up next to Syndicate. So, like, you still, gift is a lot of times taken on that blue coin. I mean, you still got to really respect it when it's taken on this red coin here. Especially Skellige, who, when running these red boats, as opposed to like the blue boats, the blue boats have more of a round one presence, but do play into a little bit of that tall punish there. Whereas these red boats just have more, just standalone engine value, which a lot of people kind of turn towards these days.
Yeah, when I was speaking to Red Rame was making a very big point about how red ships are good and blue ships bad. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it all depends on how much tall punish is also played in the meta too, right? And how beneficial winning that round one is to your game plan.
No surprises that Paj comes in with a rebuke, but of course not ideal because there's no Treant down on the board, no Symbiosis cards either, but no surprises for Gravesh either that his first ship has been answered, and maybe he is wishing he had the Crystal Skull for this moment. Would be interested to find out why he decided to go for this over the TA or the Crystal Skull. Obviously, you're going to play into Tool Punish a little bit more. Horson Senior Junior could be an idea as well, as he obviously can damage boosted cards. He's not playing Protectors, so basically just not giving any value to Morkvarg, and cards like that does make sense in this particular matchup against a guy that's playing 5 removal cards. Not ideal. Goes for the Berserker, which is of course going to kill this Treant. So further rebukes are not threatening that death blow, apart from if played through the Forest Protector.
Yeah,
right,
I mean,
Quill?
What's that?
Quill, we need to step up the drinking game, I reckon.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, I'm gonna neck one. You down?
I'm down.
All right, cool. Pyrotech comes in, by the way. Just Headbutt Play. Berserker is just going to knock off one of the 2 armor. Cheers to everybody in the chat. Good luck to both players.
I already went, sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, again, kind of like what you said earlier, butt play really has to kind of recognize as well that the cards like Herald and Ice are obviously kind of unplayable in this round one. So you gotta either develop the tempo or the amount of point separation to be able to just get out of the round, or try and push hard enough that you're going to be able to win the round. I think a lot of cases, Skellige goes to just create that point separation to defend the bleed in round 2, because it's kind of hard to take the long round in especially against a deck like Gift.
Yeah, Marauder, as well as the Ping of the Berserker cleaning up the Pyro tech. Paj is 14 points down here. He seems a little bit confused about what's going on. Colin, on the other hand, oozing confidence.
Yeah, butt play is definitely oozing right now.
In comes the Hammer Dryad. Are we going to see a leader charge to play around the Gutting Slash? We do. That is an investment, but the Gutting Slash cannot clean up this engine. Not only is the Hammer Dryad gaining off the Vitality, it's also that Symbiosis engine as well, which is pretty relevant to get those 2 Strength Treants down on the board, seeing as this Hunter could just clean them up. Butt play. Obviously, round control would be ideal for him. This isn't the most ideal of matchups. The fact he's got Morkvarg over Turgvy definitely is going to help him here.
Yeah, Morkvarg good for this round 1 should he need to really have a big point swing to kind of keep up there. So, yeah, and I do like this Hamadryad from Paya, really starting to, say that, hey, I can put pressure down in the next couple turns if I want to. So, again, this Hamadryad could be quite annoying for butt play here.
Please stop. Please stop.
No, I'm like that like Justin Bieber. I'm never gonna stop stopping.
I don't understand the reference, but it sounds awful to me.
Oh god.
So Colin puts down the Raider, and what's Paya's first name? I didn't actually pay attention. What's he even called? Do you know?
The Oncrate Raider? What do you mean?
No, like what's Paya's actual name? Gravesh is Colin. What's Paya called? I'm going to call them by their first names.
Oh, yikes. I know this kid for over 2 years now. Oh, no.
Alexander?
Alex. Yeah, it's Alex. Because half the TLG is
really?
Half the TLG is named Alex. I know Anda, right, is named Alex as well.
Really?
Yeah, I think Sharpie as well.
Now, Quill, I've always wondered. What's your first name, mate? It's always been a mystery to me.
And
okay. And Colin replying to Alexander here. The tempering did come down from Alexander, but now Colin, 10 points ahead, has the Hunter down. The hand is beginning to look a little bit more awkward. This raiding fleet still an option, and this is the perfect time for the raiding fleet because it can cancel the Vitality. Colin, however, does not look like he's in his happy place right now. But this is the perfect raiding fleet, right? You just cancel that Vitality. You don't get the Purify, that value that Alexander is looking for. And Colin, very, very happy here.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand, a little bit of a pained expression on butt play's face, given the circumstance. He just wants to get out of this.
And here comes the Caress, obviously not removing any bleeding, which is good. But Colin is looking a little bit hot under the collar here.
Yeah, and this Hamadryad going so big right now, especially. How do you feel about just Paya trying to bait out the Morkvarg of butt play in this round 1 when he's on red?
Yeah, well, Morkvarg is one of the biggest cards in this matchup. It does have 1 armor, and that is just huge because there is a lot of random damage in the meta.
True.
Ooh, Colin deciding to actually just play this Morkvarg before taking the 2-point Gutting Slash. Surely just securing the bag of this round. And Alexander has to be happy to see this Morkvarg going. He knows he couldn't win the round, and he snaps that pass like Soldier Boy. Not sure, but that I was referencing literally nothing. But
yeah,
if we just make a quick
I just
look
assumed that was a lyric, so I don't know. You got me with it. I thought it was good.
Can we all just take a moment to appreciate Colin's curtains? They're made out of jumpers by the looks of it.
Oh, yeah. Chat's mother's jumpers, right? Like
Exactly.
it's the dressings of his conquered moms hanging up on his wall.
Alexander and Colin both have 2 mulligans remaining, which will each decide to do. Alexander's hand completely gold. On the other hand, Colin has this gutting slash, which, if he's going to push into this round, isn't very proactive. But it could, of course, if he manages to find some bloodthirst, deal 6 damage. Seems he actually, Colin, mulligans the ice and the Harold. Are you dizzy?
I'm wondering if butt play is looking to go deep here.
What is this mulligan game from Colin? Mulliganing Harold and iced. So that would strongly suggest he's going to attempt what I like to call a value bleed maneuver. He accepts that card advantage will be lost, but he makes some decent trades. Colin just making some reckless decisions to mulligan both Harold and iced. That is pretty outrageous behavior from Colin. What a madman.
Hey, you draw them or you don't, man. Let's leave it up to the gods here. Let's go.
It's really crazy though, right? Like, what are these mulligans?
I mean, at the same time, like, are you just? I don't know. GIF still has a really good long round, right? And especially having order advantage as Paya here, like, I don't know. You're allowed to start getting that Ithne down on the board. You're allowed to start playing some of these natures to get the immediate value out of them before you're really able to set up a lot of your engines. So I think he's a little bit worried about that. Just that order advantage here being super significant for butt play.
Yeah, obviously, Bigus and the lack of Purify and Skellige being a factor in this as well. It's not like he has an easy way to get through this defender. Would have to invest a lot of removal. So Gravesh definitely needs to do some sort of value bleed here. And the decision to mulligan the Harold and the iced big balls, you have to say, hoping to find these cards later on. And Paya going into this round would be like, look, bruv, if I get down to 2 cards, there's probably going to be a Harold or there's probably going to be an iced. And Colin is just going to say, nah, man, joke's on you, brother. I didn't even drink tea. Sorry, you don't get that reference, do you?
No, I don't.
It's like a classic online gamer video, which is like one of my favorite YouTube videos growing up. And he'd be like, "What teabag? Joke's on you. I didn't even drink." Yeah, sorry, I'll stop.
I kind of miss teabagging. Not gonna lie, that's the only thing I miss about shooters these days. So yeah, no, I get you. But talking about classics when you're more of the zoomer here, I don't know.
Colin goes for the Berserker. Could set up a little bit of bloodthirst action on this Rowdy Dwarf, which we are getting premium quite soon, right? This Rowdy Dwarf. The Figus is getting pinged down. If you're Alexander, what do you go for? Personally, I'm looking at this Dunker, but obviously Dunker plus the Raider plus the Gutting Slash would be removed, which wouldn't be ideal. Obviously, you've got the option of the Forest Protector as well. Listen,
yeah, I mean,
Byra, I teach English, man. Yeah. Sorry. Carry on.
I thought you were going further with that, so I was gonna wait for you. I didn't think it was gonna stop at I teach English. But yeah, so it's starting to get awkward for Paya here, right? Like, obviously he wants to get down this engine in Dunka. It's the same thing with Ithne. Ithne could potentially get awkward later in the round. Granted, you're going to probably save Forest Protector the longest, so you're still going to get a little bit of value out of Ithne. But the longer he starts to hold on to these engines, the more awkward it might get for him. So the second he's able to get down Dunka and be ahead, he's going to want to do that. And looks like he's doing that right here. And excuse my language, Dunka.
Yeah, that's more like it, Sunshine.
Gotcha.
Here she is, the rowdiest of dwarfs, going to be at 12 strength come the end of the game. Colin here, of course, doesn't have the option to pass. Well, I mean, he does have the option to pass, but would be conceding card advantage. You would assume, judging by his mulligans, he's happy to go the whole way. Let's be very, very clear. Nature's Gift has to be favored in this matchup against SK. Colin has the option of taking the totem, goes for the Beagle. Will he take the Hercule or will he just play a dead-ass Hunter? He does go for the Hercule and removes the Dunker. And Alexander is now back.
Yeah, and I think that's what butt play is, more afraid of here, right? Like just on the paper, and just think about it. You have the order advantage in the engines and gift, and you start to get pretty worried about how hard deep is going to go, or gift is going to go deep into you.
What the heck? What are you talking about, mate?
I'm trying too hard at this point, man. I'm tunnel visioned. I'm tunnel visioned on the butt play.
Oh, look at this from Colin. I love this. Just zacking the card. And let's not forget, Caduceus is a bit of a carryover play. And Alexander has just got to fully be expecting Harold or Ice to be the last card. There's no way that Alexander thinks that a man would ever not draw these cards and mulligan both of them. Let's be honest. He's not expecting Caduceus the last card. He sat here thinking, oh boy, what if he iced me here, son? Might overcommit. Colin has 8 points on the Caduce, but let's not forget as well, the click on the totem represents 4 points, which means he has 12 points worth of he has 12 points. Whereas the Rowdy Dwarf's going to tick twice. So Pai's at 18. He needs to get to 37 in one turn to stop Colin playing his card, which seems pretty unlikely, to be honest. Here we go.
Really impressed you did that math there. I wasn't about to do it.
I mean, the Forest Protector, I'm pretty sure, would not be enough, so Colin is still going to be able to play this Caduce. Of course, being able to slot the Caduce in between the Totem and the Hercure as well. Decides not to do that. Hello, Colin. I'm hammered, and I saw this play. Could have saved yourself a point, mate. Of course, it's not going to make a difference because, it's still enough.
Yeah, I mean, although you look at Paya here, he gets to go into the last round with Ithne, 2 leader charges. Like, I don't know. Again, butt play is going to have to just draw his cards here. He still has, but then again, out of 9 cards, finding Herald and Ice.
Yeah, and Uki makes the same point as I did. Like, he wasted a point, but it really doesn't matter. There's no cards in Alexander's deck that are going to only play for 1 point, so it really didn't make a difference. Skjordal doesn't find the iced. Colin.
Oh, no.
He's not looking too happy. Finds the Bear Witcher, bruv. Which means he's not found Harold or iced. Will he miss both? He doesn't look happy. He misses.
Oh.
And of course, there's going to be Bear Man in the chat saying, bruv, why did he mulligan his cards? But he tried to give himself the best possible win condition. He took this high roll approach. It didn't happen for him. I don't think he can be too upset about this one. He knew the risks he was taking. I think I like the line he took. It was risky, but ultimately it's just not paid off for Colin, and Alexander looks to have secured the bag.
Yeah, I mean, when you're comfortable with butt play, you got to know the risks of going in deep.
There, Laraco set up. He capped. It's fine. I have to say, though, in all seriousness, I love this play from Gravesh to mulligan both these gold cards. I think it's fantastic decision making from the guy. Imagine if he just drew his Iced and Harold here, he would be in a great position. And it's a really bad matchup for the guy as well, right? Like it's not ideal. So I'm going to give Gravesh the moral victory in this one. I think he played it perfectly. I'm going to throw it out there.
Don't you mean Colin?
Yeah, sorry. Colin played to his win contour.
Mm-hmm. No, I think he played it fine. Again, it wasn't really rewarded in the mulligans. Like you would see, you'd be thinking completely the opposite thing, right? Like he draws into Herald, he draws into that ice there. You'd be like, oh, it's such a genius line of play, right? Just going for that value bleed. So like, yeah, and we got Specimen Gwent coming down and threatening the poor members in chat.
Colin, let's not forget, Colin still has his leader ability. It's actually like, man, imagine if this last card was iced. It would be pretty scary for Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
But Colin, a wry smile, knows that it just didn't go his way. But at least it didn't go his way against a friend,
I'm sure that's what he's thinking about, and not thinking about the purse of the open.
Man, imagine he just drew the ice to. He would have been laughing. Look how flipping close it is, man. You see one of these cards, poor Colin. In comes the 4V. Surely it's enough, right? 4V.
Yeah, it wasn't even just
into
Ice,
crawl.
right? It was Harold as well that was probably doing it too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, call into Gord, I guess.
How big is Collins scored? Oh, sorry. Alexander scored. Just a measly 13 points. Alexander takes it 1-0. I think I'm going to, again, I know I've said it already. I'm going to go ahead and say that Colin gets the moral victory in this one. I think he played the absolute chattiest of lines. And he earns my respect, this Colin guy.
So I don't think that like Harold was obviously doing that 10-point gap there, but Ice would have made it really, really close. Like that fall of Colin to Gold was still definitely a lot of points there. So yeah, unfortunate that he ended up missing out and the line of play didn't pay off, but still going for that value bleed, I think was probably a good decision overall.
Yeah, and obviously the fact that he invested this Blood Eagle in round 1 didn't help him out too much. That proved to be a pretty deciding factor. If he avoided playing Blood Eagle in round 1, it would have meant he had Blood Eagle for round 3, which would have given him guaranteed access to either Iced or Harold. Then he would have only needed to have drawn one of the cards, and he would have had them all. But yeah, unfortunately, didn't quite happen out. Didn't quite happen for him. And this is like a big factor of echo cards, right? If you can avoid using them in round 1, if you're going for a round 2 bleed, then you have that round 2 and round 3 echo card, which is far more ideal than round 1 and round 2, particularly in a round that you're not really planning on winning. You're just sort of trying to make some good trades. That second echo use is just such a commitment, whereas the first echo use is really uncommittal.
And I mean, in terms of like matchups to lose for butt play, like, I mean, Gift is favored into Skellige, right? Like, it's not the most disastrous possible. I mean, it's never good to like lose a match, obviously, in a series, but like, in terms of like, being able to come back and, still be in it, like he's still very much there. So
yeah. All right, we have a syndicate mirror with Alexander going first here. I believe they're the exact same decks. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, usually in the syndicate mirror, it is to the advantage of the player going second. And the reason for that is a mirror matchup really is all about commitment. You don't want to overcommit in round 1. Usually first say is best. So you almost are inclined to either lose round 1 or, moreover, at this level, you would expect a push in round 2. But of course, it depends on your hand. Now, if we look at both players, they both have a Neuromancy. There's a Furco and a Crown Splitter here for Alexander, a 7-point Crown Splitter. Also, both players have the Sea Jackal in hand. On the other hand, Colin here is going to have to commit his Neuromancy if he wants to match this Safecracker. And if you're the player on Blue Coin, what's really important to do is you kind of need to wait for your opponent to commit their justice before you commit yours. Otherwise, even if you win the round, you can put yourself at a disadvantage. So commitment is key here, and the reason it's better to go second is because you can decide what commitment you make, and you can try and win on even, or you can try and make your opponent overspend. Having said that, I've had a lot of success going first in these mirrors in open decklist format.
So that's what I guess I was going to touch on, Sem and Gwent. Is that
what?
is that yeah? I mean, we saw John Sally, right? Like his run through the qualifiers was actually quite impressive because like he built a lineup that was trying to more target Syndicate, right? And he was in the start of his reverse sweep, he was going first with Syndicate in both of his reverse sweeps where he swept Shaggy and Tailbot, right? So it's actually quite interesting, because in a lot of mirrors, you like to have that blue coin to where like you kind of enjoy going first. You have that order advantage, you have that potential round control or final say. So like, certain mirrors go a little bit different way, but it was kind of interesting because like I feel like on just initially looking at it, Syndicate, it looks like it's better to have second say in the mirror. Like you drop this safecracker like what butt play just did, right? It comes down at 8. It's a little bit bigger than Paya's safecracker. So then you start to get worried, and then you get into this, you get baited into overcommitting, right?
This is the big moment as well, Quill, in this matchup. Paya has the option of going Justice here, and it's going to be more points. because you're going to get as many crime cards from your hand as possible. Of course, you get the buff from the crime card in hand, and then the Intimidate down the line. However, Paya knows if he commits this Justice, Gravesh could just play a couple of bad cards and be done with the round, maybe a couple of poisons, for example. So Paya taking the poison approach here still has this Aneromancy available. And Colin, a lot of the time, if this was me, I'd be like, all right, bruv, I'm going to slam my Justice. But he's already committed that first Anero, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he also then has to now choose between this poison or the Justice off of his Furco. Whereas Paj here has to do the same, but he also has the option, I do believe, of a Trafficker from his Anero. He's actually not playing Trafficker, so he can go in Nero for the poison, which is the big difference because, of course, Paj had the Safecracker. But really, really interesting to see. You might expect the Safecracker to have been, the Justice to have been played by both opponents there, but Paj can't play his Justice until Gravesh does, and Gravesh realizes actually this poison is quite a big threat. I don't really want to overcommit my Justice and still not win the round on even. So here, Pajabol does go for that follow-up poison and still has the luxury, of course, of the Justice from Aneromancy, which is not a luxury Colin has.
Yeah, and now we see a 19-point gap with Buttplay of committing his Aneromancy, which is quite big, right? Like, especially if you want to go into that order advantage situation of going for a bit of the bleed there to just kind of see what the opponent has drawn. Well, now you just don't have a second Aneromancy, whereas your opponent does. So I feel like Paya being a little bit of the favored position here in terms of like his commitment into this round.
Yep, no surprise there to see the poison. What this does mean is Gravesh no longer has access to Justice in this round. However, both players playing the boat, they've both overprofited by by one coin, but getting that boat out. Paya takes that pass. He's happy. Now, what this means is Gravesh just needs to play one card, and then he has the option to try and bleed. However, Paya does have more carryover because Gravesh is going to have to spend once, and he still has access to a Aneromancy a couple of times. Gravesh now didn't manage to win on even. However, first say is usually very important in the final rounds, in the deciding rounds. So the bleed here is very much what I would expect to see from Gravesh, and it looks like he has the hand to support that kind of line as well.
Yeah, Buttplay going for a little bit of a bleed is quite likely.
Brilliant.
That was too. I'm sorry. That was a little too easy.
So Paj actually taking the decision to keep the gourd in hand. Both players finding their Justice in hand. Very skilled. Let's remember they need to have a Safecracker down. Now, big moment for Colin. He has one coin less carryover. Can you slow down what you're saying a bit? I'm struggling to keep up. Listen, mate, I'm hammered. I'm trying to like make myself all right. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I'll just stop talking, it's fine.
It's okay. Jaggers has returned to the camera. She can take over for us.
Guys, what you've also got to realize is my old man's gone to sleep, and I'm quite paranoid. All right, that's what I'll pin it on that as well. Colin takes the cleaver. I love this. This is the play I would make, and if I would make it, you know it's a good play, right? This gives you like, even though if you pass, you give Paya first say. First say is really good in these mirrors, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Buttplay cleaving his way deep into a bleed here. You know, you got to think Paya's got to respect that. And he does have the likes of Justice. He has his Aneromancy and his own cleaver to kind of contend with it as well. I mean, pretty, I won't say it like super similar hand states, but the Aneromancy is a little bit more spendable for Paya as well, which is quite nice. Gourd, obviously not a card you typically want to play out in this round. So that's a little bit out of the question here, but you know. And
in comes the Philippa.
Yeah, a very committable Philippa. Nero into the Philippa here, and we just see straight away the answer quickly is, butt play just socking into the Philippa to seal it right back.
Yep. So both players trading their Philippas. They both have the crown splitter pocket, and Colin and Alexander both ready to go.
Yeah, both very exact, almost mirror board states here. It's actually quite appeasing to my eyes. Butt play doing a good job of pleasing my eyes, to be honest.
I'm getting roasted because chat pointed out I was talking like this for quite a long time, and now I'm getting roasted.
You were really like thinking about every single like enunciation you made and like spending a lot of time into it, and I'm just here like sock butt play sock.
Here's the Siggy 8, looking very great, having to spend a lead charge just because you don't want to play a flipping blind die. Doesn't seem like a good idea to me, Green Knight.
Oh, now we're flaming Green Knight. I mean, I kind of like the idea of Siggy 8. I mean, not always, the best things are like the straight obvious, like who thought butt play would be fun, like right off the bat, like, I mean.
I'm pretty sure Paj has the Siggy 8 as well, being both players just being completely baited by Green Knight. Goodness me. Imagine listening to Green Knight. Couldn't be me.
I mean, I hear there's a lot of random damage in the meta, and we do see a 4 total armor on the board. So if there were random damage, I mean, it'd be getting a lot of value here.
Could you hear that, by the way?
No,
that's fine. It was just my stomach was basically telling me to stop drinking.
See, mine's telling me the exact opposite, and I don't think I should listen to it.
So, Colin also just like to point out this spawn of the Flying Redanian, not ideal for Colin, because Colin's Justice is going to spawn, and basically this ship is going to be blocking one of the Crown Splitter pockets. So if Alexander was able to destroy this cleaver in the middle, it could cause a bit of an issue for Colin, and his Crown Splitter is probably not going to be relevant, but you never know. 2 points in this. Colin, of course, has 1 card left, but does have 5 more coins, although has had to invest a leader charge along the line to thin out the ship. Orson Jr. could come in now and absolutely clean up this cleaver. I would love to see it. Do it, Colin. Come on, Colin. Do it. Do it, Colin. Here we go. You expect to see the spend coming in as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about like Horson Jr. for like this mirror matchup, right? Like,
it's just tell me more. Yeah.
It's able to clean up Cleaver with that fee ability, right? Like, it's just so nice in being able to remove engines that play a little bit tall with green strength. Like, you just have like 9 damage of essential removal there with 3, as long as you have 3 coins in the bank, which is quite often what you have, at least with this line pockets ability. So I do really like Horson as a card, and I would love to be able to play it more on like a ladder situation, but like when you can try and avoid that Skellige, it's just a great card. Also,
yeah, like this is like as good as he is. What is much better in this mirror matchup is the Tavern Brawl, for sure. Like Tavern Brawl just cleans up the cleaver up as well without having to spend any coins. Obviously, okay, you can't spend with it, so it's going to be less good against AQ and things like that. But Tavern Brawl is one card in particular that I would be bringing in, even in an open deck list format, just for how good it is in the mirror. Paj doesn't respond to this cleaver instantly, so Colin does have the option of spending with cleaver. Also adds the Horson down. Let's not forget this Siggy is an Intimidate engine for both as well. Colin has his second in Neuromancy and a bunch of crimes left on the board. Quill's too busy shit posting in the chat to commentate the game, basically. It's funny because I'm looking at his camera. I can just see him smiling while he's typing in the chat.
I'm sorry, I just get giggly when I'm drunk. Like I can't. I mean, if anybody have watched the various drunk streams I've had in the past, I mean, I just what can I say? I mean, you said we bring the beer, and you know what? Not bringing beer, but I'm bringing whiskey. Okay, like I'm gonna bring it. We are not liars here.
Colin has a 7-point lead right now. Alexander looking for that 8-point play of magic. Bear in mind, a dip in the Pontar hit would pull out the flying Redanian. It will fly onto the board. So Alexander has also the option of shakedown. This assault looking a little bit lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
What will
Again,
Alexander decide to do? Oh my
again,
goodness, takes the shakedown. What a play.
again,
Sorry.
that's the thing about like Paya. He was able to like kind of like what we touched on earlier in round one. His hand allowed for him to hold on to that neuromancy, and I think that's super significant in this round too. And Butt Play's hand is kind of winding down here. I mean, there's like Justice, which plays for quite a good bit of points, but you're starting to lower on these amount of crimes in hand. So like this halfling, going to be a 5-point card, 7-point really if it doesn't get answered. But there's always like potentially this tunnel drill ready to drill the heck out of the board when it's ready as well. So
yeah, when it's ready, it's ready to drill. Yeah, when it's ready.
Mm-hmm.
Ready
to drill some butt play.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
12-point game, Quill and Lance. Alexander, that is payable, just to confirm. Apparently, I could be being baited. I found this out today. But this is like, in all seriousness, I know. Let's just have a moment of seriousness. This is where the order advantage comes into it. Paj wants to go drill here, but if he goes drill, then Colin can just drill his drill, which is a pretty nice thing to be able to do. And also, he's got the Jackal just waiting. This Gord isn't really playable, but it's more the card he wants to have as the last card left over. The Jackal comes in, doesn't decide to spend and say to Colin that you can't pass. So Colin has the option to pass here.
Well, so I really like this from Pajabol, allowing to really maximize your coin carryover, right? You're playing the Jackal, so you don't lose that 1 extra coin, but also you have 2 more leader charges. And as well, if Butt Play decides to pass here, you're allowed to get an extra point of carryover too. Butt Play just at 7 coins here, whereas Paya is going to be able to possibly make it up to that 8 coin range as well with an assault. So really like this play from Pajabol here. Offering the pass. Sometimes you just got to offer up, the option to butt play here.
Yeah, and something that I've noticed that's really interesting about this matchup is the fact that butt play has actually got a capital B in his name. So it's kind of his own fault for doing that. Like, why is there a capital here?
Yeah, you just got to separate it at the capital B, right? That's that's like the reasonable way to shorten the name.
But if you look at his Gwent name, he doesn't have a capital B. CDPR just gave him a capital B.
Oh, so you're saying CDPR encourages the separation?
Who the bloody was that? Quill, have you got a voice changer? What's going on there?
I'm very good with voices these days. I'm very talented. I'm very good at what I do.
That was a very nice Scottish accent. Do you like haggis and Aberdeen Angus?
Oi, of course, mate.
That was okay. You killed it.
I've got my willies.
So Jag making the point that actually he doesn't have a capital. He doesn't have a cap. Does he? Who knows?
Oi, bruv. What do you mean?
Ask if you would like some plain Scottish haggis.
Would you like some plain Scottish haggis?
Actually, don't ask that. Honestly, Jag, if you'd like to come back and save me, that'd be great.
It's happening all over again, Chad. I'm about to get abandoned, just like I was abandoned with Green Knight.
I'm drinking with you, mate. I just tried screwing my my whiskey bottle cap onto my Coca-Cola. I think you did that the other day when I was watching Quilling Cup, actually. Here comes the drill. Drill goes, blum. Now Colin's going to get to 8 coins. Only has 3 in the bank. Cleans up the first kill. 5-point advantage. Has the option to spend another couple of times. However, what way would Alexander have to kill the drill? The answer is payday.
Mm-hmm.
Does Colin respect the payday? He does. Kills the intimidate engine.
Butt play creating a decent bit of separation here, and Paya left with a couple bronzes as well as a Gord in hand, and Gord obviously not the card you want to spend to potentially take this round going into a short round 3. So
listen, this is what I was talking about, Quill. Like, the chat can flame us, but look, I had the prediction. Look at the advantage of going first. Butt play had 1 card less in this round, but is, I believe, unless I'm doing my maths wrong, going to force out the Gord. And Alexander is going to have to play both cards here to take it.
is it even gonna?
Is the Gord big enough? It ties, and Colin takes the Syndicate Mirror. The turn order, he had a card less in this push. You have to respect the place from Colin. Of course, like you would say, there's a big advantage in the Syndicate Mirror of going second, which Colin had. Both players, Paj took that pass early on in round 1, saying, "Look, mate, you can try and bleed me," but Colin, he didn't need his third in Neromancy. It didn't matter they had to Neromancy in round 1 because guess what, bruv? He had that turn order. They tied it up. And I'm going to pour myself another drink, mate, because I think I've done myself well there. Cheers.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow you up in a little bit there. I've been.
We're back on. They can
Yes,
see us
we
now,
are.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, in the first game, I remember going, "Oh yeah, I'm going to neck this drink," and I necked my drink, and nobody saw it.
Well, here you go. Here's your chance. While we wait for the next game.
So in England, we have this song, and it goes like this: "We like to drink with Spessy, because Spessy is our mate, and when we
like to drink with Spessy, because Spessy is our mate, and when we drink with Spessy, he downs in less than 8, 7, 6, 5."
I didn't realize that Spessy was in kind of a national pastime type of song. Well done, Spessy. What are you doing? What are you doing casting here with me? Like when you get your own song.
I'm drinking Jack Daniels. I was supposed to get the honey version because it was cheaper, but they ran out, so I got the more expensive version.
Probably a little bit too much butt play got you canceled, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
Why am I on camera?
No, poor Jack.
I mean, that's what you get. Yeah. That's why me and Spessy flipped our cameras for the break.
Exactly.
There might be some screenshots coming out from Max's where.
I mean, if only you guys could see Spyro right now. He's just looking amazing. We're getting some.
Hey, Spiro, you want to wave?
Spiro, give us a wave, lad. Go on, give us a wave, Spiro. Spiro, give us a wave. 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 No waving. He's not happy about this. He's absolutely fuming, mate. Anyway, back to the Gwent action. We've got Syndicate versus Skellige. And look at this. Alexander is SMHing. He's flipping fuming, mate. He's not happy about the state of his hand. He's got Gord. He's got Jacques. They're pretty unplayable cards, let's be honest.
But on the flip side, at least you have the halfling, you have the Furco into Justice, right? So you do have some plays you can still really threaten this round. Granted, it definitely is a bit gold heavy, and you're definitely gonna have to commit a bit to try and go for this win on even strategy here. And that is honestly, I know I'm American and I know I'm pretty bad at counting, but I feel like 4 is a little bit low of what you want on your safecracker. You want to confirm that to me? You want a quick count, Spessy? Can you count 1?
What did you say?
I said I know I'm American. I know counting's hard, but 4 is a bit low for what you'd want on your safecracker, right? You wanna back me up on that?
I don't think I've ever had a 4-point safecracker in my life.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see. I'm actually just waiting for butt play's expression when Safecracker hits the board at 4
Do you know what?
points.
Do you know what he's going to do? He's going to lean back slightly. He's going to shake his head side to side, and he's going to laugh a little bit as well. He's going to go, hoo, hoo, hoo. It's going to be one of those. I'm ready to see it from Colin. Colin's expecting the 8-point Safecracker, and oh my god, there it is! I called it.
and he's laughing too.
It's the exact expression that I was anticipating. Lean back slightly, shakes his head, and laughs. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
No. I mean,
Colin
at the same time,
loves it.
you're really happy to see that, but at the same time, you're like, oh, you know, you've been in like a similar position before as like a Gwent player who has to headbutt the ladder, right? Or butt play the ladder, or whatever, however you want to separate the name, right? Like, it's you've been there at least some point before after like 500 games a season of like these lists, and you got to feel for him a little bit there, but at the same time, you're definitely happy to see that.
And obviously, like, no immediate punish for this magic lamp stratagem. You normally see like a crystal skull or a tactical advantage, but nah. Shakedown coming in from Alexander.
Yeah, I mean, so for like the stratagem, butt play's not really going to get punished for it, right? Because there's no like fistex or anything, no real access to like this stratagem losing its value, right? It's still just playing for that 5, like probably more so than the tactile advantage or Crystal Skull would have done, right? Like, again, we don't see any fistex, we don't see any removal for butt play's engines here. So yeah, I mean, I don't think he's like too upset about this lamp gin being online here. So looks like he is readying himself potentially for the pass, deciding to flip the lamp gem and asking Paya, hey, what you gonna do? 18 points of separation, it's hard to see what he's gonna do here. Again, that 4-point Safecracker is just devastating. Devastating to see it, and you gotta know that butt play is gonna take advantage of that as well. So Paya just putting down this really sad Sea Jackal, yet still not thinning out his boat as well. So just not a great situation for Paya, and he's just he's got to try and come back and recover for it. There's still a whole another 2 rounds of Gwent yet. So
obviously in this Blaze of Glory versus Syndicate one, Blaze of Glory always looking for that last 8 if at all possible. And if you're Syndicate, you're just a little bit worried about this iced in a short round, particularly. Also, the long round, they pose a lot of threat with cards like Harold. And Paj, he looks buzzing, mate. I think he's really happy to be here. Everything about him just exudes confidence. He's feeling great about the hand that he's drawn. No negativity going through his mind at all at this moment in time.
So, got to point out that CDPR has fixed the capitalization issue in butt play's name. So, I wonder if they are a little bit interested in this butt play conundrum here.
Oh my god! As if they've changed that. That's incredible.
They did. It's now the B in butt is not capitalized anymore. So it was a conscious decision.
Okay, going into round 2, Paj finding the flying rotating. That's a force mulligan. Colin still has the option. Finds the ship. That's going to be a brick from the raiding fleet. Finds the Hercule. Just to confirm the predictions so far, I've got all 3 right. If Gravesh wins, that'll be a 4-0 sweep for myself. I believe that Jag and Spyro predicted Paj, whereas myself and Quill went for Gravesh.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's not over yet. Every series has went the distance so far, so we shall see what happens. It is 1-1 right now, and butt play in the commanding position. Definitely on top here in deciding this round control. So I mean, with butt play, that's definitely where you want to be on. Possibly a little bit on top in the commanding power position here.
I would just like to take this moment to shout out the chat, Quill, and say thank you for chilling with us on this Saturday evening.
I just want to say you are welcome, and I appreciate all of you, and especially you, Spessy, for putting up with my constant bearing into the ground of this butt play joke.
Listen, mate, it's better than Brazil is in the chat flaming me for playing 1,000 games to get to top 64. I think he's gone. So can we get some Ming Lees in the chat for Brazil? Any Ming Lee friends? There they are. That's what we want to see. That is exactly what we're looking for. Yo, Kiwi!
Oh god. I mean, to be fair, like you're either putting up with my mom jokes or you're putting up with butt play jokes at this point. Like, it all depends on like preference. Are you into moms or are you into butts? Like, I don't know.
Okay, I've not been paying attention, but I'm going to try and, I feel like I've done quite well up until this moment to actually be involved in the game, but I've not been watching for the last 5 minutes, to be honest. So I'm going to find my footing. Gravesh, having won round 1, is in that position of the magic 7 cards. Is he going to bleed? Now, this Blood Eagle has not been played. Am I correct in thinking Quill doesn't know the answer to that, so don't answer it? I'm pretty sure Blood Eagle is not
I don't
doomed.
think it has.
Of course,
I don't think it has been.
So you're kind of incentivized. I mean, a long round, I would fancy Syndicate, right? Having committed very little. The Syndicate commitment has just been a safecracker. But what does Colin go for here? Has the option of like a Berserker.
I mean, at the same,
makes sense.
Yeah, I can see
either. Now on. Sorry,
I was gonna say I can see either because like he does have he does have a decent amount of engine value, right? There's Herald, there's Herkia, there's Boat. He still has Raiding Fleet sitting in deck yet, so I mean, he still has a decent bit of engine value going into that round 3, and it looks like he was really kind of considering that decision based on how long he took to play out this Herkia here. Definitely there's considerations for both. So.
Yeah, obviously Herkia is just going to be more points over time, right? Because she doesn't ever have a time she switches off. So that makes sense. As long as you're going to invest into this round for a decent amount of time, makes sense to go for the Herkia. Paj here, the Gord is very much around 3 card. The Philippa comes in, and that is a fantastic Philippa. And of course, because Gravesh has gone past 7 cards, he's now invested into this bleed. And this is exactly the kind of way you want to be using your Philippa, stealing an engine, turning that engine from your opponents into an engine of your own. However, in comes the devotion-orientated War of Clans. I don't know if I've ever played this card, mate. I should try some Devotion SK, honestly. And it just cleans up that Herkia. 3-point game. Paj, though. Alexander just zacking. In comes the Immune Pig, spending 3 coins. But that's going to be not spending 3 coins. That makes a lot more sense.
I was going to say, like, are you ahead of me? Like,
no, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I thought I saw him click it, but yeah. Like, you're spending 3 coins here, but for how many points? Seeing as he has 1 Chrome card in hand, maybe a second off of an Aeromancy, right? You're spending 3 coins for like 4 immune points. Just not really worth it.
Well, and that's like if he has Morkvarg in hand, right? Like if he doesn't, then just like I don't know, like what's the point here? Like he doesn't have the point on Brockvar Hunter right now. Like that's kind of hard to remove at 6 strength with no damage currently readily available on the board to use in terms of order. So
Vabiorn into the Raiding Fleet. Getting this engine down, not the best timing, but of course Philippa having just come in could feel worse for Colin. His engines are always going to get stolen, and at least it was one he could deal with easily.
Mm-hmm. And like, so if he wants to bleed, like, almost to the like this iced here, like he's still going to get that bleed value, right? So like, although it's late, like he's still going to get value out of this Raiding Fleet. And then he doesn't have to potentially worry about mulligans here. He can be really potentially aggressive because obviously you don't want to draw into Yuta. You don't want to draw into that Boat potentially as well. So like he can be a little bit more aggressive going into that round 3.
Colin, I feel like in the last, at some point during the series, has moved his curtain formation around. I'm sure this window was not visible earlier on, but flexing those curtains, showing what he's all about.
Yeah, butt play saying to Pi, I'm gonna put you outside tonight, man. Maybe a little bit of getting in his head a little bit. I wonder if they can see the cameras during the game, being like, yeah, you're sleeping outside tonight, man. I'm gonna win this one.
I've got another question as well. It's something I've always kept to myself, but I've always felt like Alexander Pajabol here has got a fish tank behind him. Is that true, or am I imagining it?
Yeah, I thought he lived in a submarine for quite a while, so I'd be kind of interested to answer that question too. Maybe that's what we kind of should have asked about in the interview.
So is it a fish tank behind him? Does anybody in the chat know?
I mean, I'd be interested if he lives in a submarine. I'd be interested in asking him what is the temperature of his room.
Look at this Colin just guzzling a flipping beer. What a geezer. I was so tempted to go to my Discord and say, yeah, you fucking neck that beer, mate. What a guy. We've all got a root for Colin at this point. Sorry, Paj, it's over for you. Colin's just necking some beer. Are you dumb? What a geezer.
I mean, to be fair, I thought Cam's in like the last, I think it was in Masters, he was like sipping on Coca-Cola. I thought he was just sipping on whiskey, just casually, just like constantly, just like, I kind of hoped he was too, but.
Am I deluded? Gravesh just necked a beer, right?
I mean, I'm sure you are, but I mean, that doesn't, I don't know if that is bearing necessarily on that question.
Also, just to confirm, I know that like behind him is art on the wall, but I'm sure I've seen some little fishy swimming around there at some point. This bleed is still going in from Gravesh, despite it's not looking like he's going to get his card advantage. And the problem for him here is Iced being a card in hand is just never going to want to be committed. This is like, we look back to the previous game where he mulliganed his Iced and Harold. At times like this, you really want to just push all your cards to try and force out some big gold cards from your opponent. But Colin doesn't really have that option unless he wants to commit the Ice. But let's not forget, the Bloodthirst is there, and that is an awful lot of points. You're looking at what, like 28 points off of Iced with the leader ability.
So it's a big point gap, but also the points are relatively close right now. Like, it's hard to think that you can create enough separation to feel comfortable with just straight 2-0ing, right? You have to hope the hand is pretty bad to be able to go for that, I feel.
Yeah, and obviously it's not that 12-point target as well, so it's not as much tempo as I was saying. But here comes the bounty play, maybe baiting that Drill could be ready to come in, which of course it could from this first Aneromancy from Alexander. Colin's 6 points down, but has 3 points on the board plus a bleed. There's only 2 coins in the bank here for Alexander, but Skjordal plus the Raider plus the Hunter could kill the only spender on the board of Alexander, and that could make things a little bit awkward for him. However, this bounty play is strongly suggesting to Colin that he might be expecting a tunnel draw to come in, and he actually decides to kill the safe cracker, which makes this drill that he's expecting in the hand of Alexander much worse. Of course, drill is only an option off an Aeromancy. It's not a foregone conclusion, so Alexander probably quite happy to see that Gravesh kills the safe cracker. I love this play from Paya, actually. Like, he could have purified the bleed, but instead he plays a bounty, and basically the bleed is kind of purified for him by the fact Gravesh kills it. So I really, really like this play from Paya.
Well, it also suggests that he has drill in hand, right? Like, like really threatening that that he's going to put a lot of damage on the board with his bounty, and which incentivized butt play to remove it with Skjordal. So he removes that crown splitter to make the drill in possibly what he thinks is in his hand less value, but really it's from a Neuromancy. So like, you know, he doesn't even have to go for it. So I also like that play from Paya a lot. He can just spend with Jacques too. So yeah, very, very nice Kurt there.
Here comes the classic 8 profit Siggy. Alexander takes his moment to drink a little bit of water. And this is the moment, if you're Colin, where you really wish you had a card that was not iced. However, for Alexander, the fact this is his first Aneromancy, the fact that he drew that Safecracker in round 1, looking good for him. Because he still has his first Anero, so he can just decide what card he commits. And for Colin, this is kind of like the worst card. You just wish this was a card you were going to top deck guaranteed in round 3. Imagine this was, for example, a Gutting Slash. He could play the Gutting Slash and maybe make a good trade. Of course, it's not going to happen. He just goes for it. Oh
no. Oh no. God, that's painful for butt play. Oh no.
Yeah. That sucks to see, man. Ouch. So the difference between finding, for example, a Bear Witcher or an Invader, there were a lot of cards it could have been. In fairness, it could have been a Totem. It could have been a Kadooch. It could have been Harold. It could have been Harold. There was a lot of bad cards. This is the risk he took.
But, I mean, like the argument, sure, it could have been worse, is like, it doesn't make you feel any better, right?
Sure. But I mean, honestly, like, he's in a good spot. He could have found the 2-0 if he found the unit, but we might just be going to the top decks here because for Alexander, he's 34 points down. The bounty is on the board. However, the Neromancy for Drill is just not an appealing option, so this bounty is pretty irrelevant at this point. He needs 34 points. Probably a Sea Jackal is going to be the most likely option here as just a clean spender that doesn't overrun. Still takes the Drill? Are you dizzy? So he can play the Drill. He goes to 9 coins. And of course, then the Gourd can play for a wholesome 8 slot next to the Drill. Drill is now going to deal 2 damage for 2 coins. Gets the bounty value. Has to spend a little bit, but still takes 1 point of carryover as well as the 6 leader charges. Round 3, here we go. Paya has the Echo card on top of his deck. Gravesh, I believe, also has Blood Eagle. Gravesh doesn't have Blood Eagle. Finds the Kadooch. Finds the Harold. Still looking for the Totem. Will he go for it? On the other side of things, Fist Tech in hand. Will Paj find the Crown Splitter? Paj high rolls.
God, both players drawing like absolute gods, man.
Will Gravesh find a good card? No. He's not happy. He misses Totem. He misses Morkvarg. Yeah. Morkvarg would have killed the Cleaver, of course.
Yeah, Morkvarg Totem, bottom 2 cards. Yeah, you hate to see it as well. Oh, no.
Yeah. Feels bad for Gravesh. One love, man. He just takes a swig of that beer. That's what I like to see. Yeah, you calm yourself down, son. But Morkvarg, of course, here would just clean up the spender. So Paj has the option here to use full leader to spend another, or 3 leader charges to spend another time. Will he decide to go for it? Of course, not going to be relevant as there is no Morkvarg for Colin here. Does respect the Morkvarg.
Unfortunately, this Herald engine ability isn't really doing a whole heck of a lot right now. We got 2 armor as there's a lot of random damage in the meta as we are seeing with Buttplay's current hand. And then there's a bunch of shields on the board. So like I don't see these 1 pings really doing anything in terms of engine value here either, which is very sad.
Here comes the Justice, the 3-point Safecracker. They thought it was impossible. They thought it would never happen, but here it bloody is. The first time we've ever seen this in the history of Gwent, the 3-point Safecracker. Oh my god.
I like how we were saying in round 1, we're like, 4-point Safecracker. This is the worst Safecracker we've ever seen.
There, Witcher cleans up. The Aneromancy comes in the second for Paya. He has the option for the most points. You would imagine it's a shakedown or a dip. Mm-hmm. It is the dip, of course. And he's just going to be able to spend once with that Cleaver. And just imagine this Morkvarg came in from Gravesh before it would have been able to deny the spending option of the Cleaver and also play for a lot more points. But Alexander takes this one, mate. And Colin has to feel a little bit sad about how this one panned out come the round 3 draws. But if you're Alexander, you've got 4-point save crack at the start of the round 1. You're happy to take this dub.
Yeah, I mean, I just still find it funny that we were able to top the 4-point save cracker this game. Like, I actually have not. Have you seen a 3-point save cracker ever before?
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was like super.
I just saw it there. Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, pretty good ending up for Paya. Like, obviously, he was super upset in that round 1, seeing that hand state. Was able to bounce back and survive that bleed from butt play there. So like, able to come out on top of that, like, he's got to be feeling pretty good right now. Coming into possibly what could be one of the final games as well. So, and now we are coming into what looks like Skellige into the Nilfgaard here, the double cross, the meta breaker. So let's go. Are we going to see a Clown Alchemist this game? Chat, what do you think? Clown Alchemist, yes or no? What are we going to steal? Is it going to be impactful? Is it not? As we see Pajabol queuing in on blue here, we do see him running the Crystal Skull stratagem, which will probably be impactful in this matchup, seeing as how butt play does have poison completion in his hand right now, with the cupbearer and that of the fangs. So, Paya got to be pretty happy that he has Crystal Skull in this instance to allow butt play not to play for just a whole lot of reach. So, we'll see what Paya decides to lead off with here. You have to think, that it could be one of these ships. Now, kind of like how we saw in the Bart versus Red Rim and Cams versus Tailbot matchups, Skellige can win the wrong round if they are able to save at least a decent bit of entrance here. So yeah, I got to think Paya's going to want to take the same potential lines in saving that of the likes of the raiding fleet and potentially the Herkia to lessen the value of a lot of butt plays cards here. As Herkia, with its veil already built into the card, tends to be something that Nilfgaard has a hard time answering. Spessy, you're muted.
Paya showing the dominance of the Crystal Skull stratagem. Obviously, Gravesha led to go for the magic lamp, but denying the poisons, denying the coated weapons from Gravesh coming in to clean things up as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, coated weapons not always an occlusion you see from these Nilfgaard lists. So, what do you think about coated weapons in general?
Do you know what? It's something I was thinking about quite a lot, having watched the Tailbot and Bart lineups. Like that tiny little bit of clog, especially if you think back to the Cams versus Tailbot game, that tiny bit of clog that coated weapons offered was like so much in combination with like the locations already got some as well as especially if you take this Viper Witcher the Viper Witcher Alchemist. I don't know what it's called. I've cocked it up twice. It's the Viper Witcher. That's all it's called. Like the coated weapons was going a really, really long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I seem to be having issue loading CDPR stream. I don't know if that's just me or...
It's not just you, mate. Yeah, I've got the same issue.
Okay, thank God.
CDPR streams died. Oh no. Yeah, F's in the chat. I'll throw my F in the chat as well.
It's not the first time too much butt play is probably taking down.
It's okay. We can head back to our cams where I'm out of focus. Brilliant. Yeah, the stream has died. The main stream as well, guys. So you're not missing out on anything. Do not worry. We're just having a little bit of a stink. We're going to go to a 2-minute break. We'll be right back after these great interview moments. See you soon. Don't go anywhere.
And I know there's probably a lot of them, a lot of mauled moments for sure, but what is your favorite moment of Season 2?
Ooh, favorite moment of Season 2. Did I win any tournaments in season 2? I did. Yeah, I did. I won one over, so yeah, that was my favorite moment, I guess.
Once it's definitely got to be like.
And we are now back with some nice butt play gameplay. Oh my god, I hear my own voice. This is a little bit of a sad time. 1 second.
You should probably mute the stream, mate. That could go a long way. But let's try and catch up here. So we're with Skelliger of Paj going first. Second in the round is Gravesh. He's trailing by 13 points. Obviously, we've seen Cams take this approach as the Skelliger player to just as the Nilfgaard player to play 3 and pass. Gravesh was flaming this line in the chat. So no surprise to see that he is contesting round 1 a little bit more. And it didn't work for Cams either, did it, against Turbot? That kind of line. It was close, but it didn't quite work out. Great insight there. Great insight.
Yeah.
13-point gap. It's going to take the poison. Does have the follow-up with the Cupbearer. Of course, Cupbearer here will play for 4 plus 6, which is 10. Which would have tied.
I think something that's interesting that we, kind of mentioned in the choice of like the stratagems, right, is that like we talked about, butt play choosing the Jhin stratagem, but at the same time, like no one has, like in all the matches we've seen so far, no one has actually used the Veil on the stratagem to actually counter a poison.
True.
So yeah, kind of.
Does
but also
play around like coded weapons and stuff, though, right?
Yeah. But yeah, maybe that was the thing, right? Like you're just valuing the engine more than the actual poison way later on, because like Nilfgaard's hands start to get really awkward towards that last 3 to 5 cards or so. So maybe he was just thinking like, if it goes on that long, then I'm fine, and I'd rather just go for this engine value rather than the deny a poison way later. But yeah, now we go into this round 2 setting. So potentially going to see a bleed come down here from Paya. So what do you think this round 2 is going to look like, Spessy?
I mean, is the pressure still on Paya to bleed? With the fact that Colin has the Masquerade Ball, I would say this is he's at 7 cards. If he's going to play a card, he's got to go for it. He has the Jutta in hand. I would say I would favor Nilfgaard in the long round. To be completely honest with you, I would say this is a really awkward spot for Skelliger to be in. If this Jutta wasn't in hand, maybe it could be a little bit more clean. If this was like a Harold, even the last card you want here is the Jutta, right? She's just a complete brick almost. Looking at the Vabuon as well. Has Vabuon got an option? Is there a Gutting Slash?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't really since the stream crashed, I'm not really able to load the graveyard currently.
Me neither.
So
takes the pass. I don't think he wants to be taking this pass, right? I think the hand's just too awkward. And look at Alexander's facial expression. It says it all, mate. He is not a happy goose. Colin has the chance to take this round with just a single card. Has the option of a lock. Menno also in the back row within the deck, I believe. Again, we can't look at the graveyards right now. The stream has been a bit sus. I'm going to pour myself another drink there. I would love to see us go to a game 5, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, then all games today, we'll have gone to a game 5. I mean, that's kind of what you want out of a Gwent day for the most part, right? Like, you just see the most amount of high-end gameplay as possible.
Goes for the battle prep. That means that there is a coated weapon still in the deck, which is, of course, just going to be basically an Owl's Thunder. The clog is not going to be relevant. We go to a long round. Now, I'm pretty sure if Alexander Pajabol had a better hand here, he would have been bleeding.
Does
be mulliganed.
Does butt play have Canarella left? Assuming he does, right? Then
yeah.
becomes a little bit more than just like an Alzur's Thunder, right? Because you could just put in weapons in a Canarella, potentially a Herald in his graveyard setup. So,
Quill. That is an outrageous call. That's so good. Yeah, you're right. It's a line I'd never seen. Maybe that's why Coated Weapons is finding its place in this deck. And
I don't know if you're flaming me or not, but I don't know if
I was serious. But I don't know if you've noticed, mate. There's a bit of an issue here with Colin's hand.
Yeah, no ball.
Or Roderick. Or Roderick.
I mean, he didn't take the cam strategy of being in the bathroom where you always have your balls out. So, not able to.
Colin just missing his flipping Roderick and ball feels so flipping sad. I think this is game over, guys. I'm sorry to be that guy. How are you going to win without a ball? He's got no balls.
No Roderick either. And then Paya also has Morkvarg in hand right away too. So like this is looking in not so great, obviously, for butt play.
Sad times. Tough times for the man in goal here. Gravesh really has had a stinker. Not by his own accord either. Like he's just not drawn the cards. Really sucks to see, man. Like I would, as much as I love Paya, like there's few people I would like to see win this Open more than Paya, but Gravesh is one of them, to be honest. Like mainly just because Paya's obviously had the glory of Masters, of being the world champ, and Gravesh, just such a good player, man. And also just a great dude. Like both these guys are just, loved to bits, to be fair. They're both very nice guys.
Yeah, I mean, so the big problem is too, right? Like I think, this is something I see like a lot of top players frustrated in right now, is that, like losing a game to like potential draws never feels like amazing, right? Like obviously you'd rather, you'd feel more okay losing if just like the best, strictly the person who played the cleanest won, right? And that's something I hear echoed a lot between the players. And like, I feel like that's the big problem with Nilfgaard right now, is that like, for a while it's been like this draw your ball, like there's a lot of different things that are out of your control, I feel like, but at the same time there's a lot of intricacies to it. So it's it's a deck that has a lot of cognitive dissonance, right? Like it's a deck that can be more high skill, but at the same time it can be very much out of your control too. So it's a very weird faction at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's been a big thing. Like, you look back to Beta Gwent and look at some of the problems with it. Cards like the, I'm trying to think what it's called, like the Recon, the Clear Skies thing that would just play like 2 bronze cards. I can't remember what it was called. But like the decks was just super consistent, which was kind of dead. Whereas now you come to Homecoming and you like look at all these cards and the decks, they're just not that consistent, really. It's got this kind of exact different problem. And that's also the issue when you have cards like Masquerade Ball that cost actually 15 provisions, and there's a way of just not drawing them. Like it's a lot of the time going to come down to this kind of thing. Pretty sad to see, man. Squirtle cleans up the Brathens. Colin here, like, has got to just be feeling absolutely devastated at the state of his draws this whole flipping series, to be honest.
Yeah, like, so it's hard in like rounds like these. Like, so if we try not to just focus on the draws at the moment and kind of just analyze the plays, like what does butt play really do to just try and like weave his way out of this? Is there even a possible line to kind of just go forward? Because
I mean, just play all your engines as soon as possible, right? Like he's got the Usurper down. Now this V goes down, which is the Assimilate engine, as well as the 2 Hunters, right? So he's doing all he can. Maybe hold on to this leader as late as possible to make sure you've got all your Assimilate engines down as well. If we're looking at the Joachim is going to pull the Herald, right, as well. So, I mean, the Hunter's going to be pulled off Herald, so I guess get the Joachim in soon. Engines down early. Maybe the Cupbearer as well for that Assimilate proc, because you're going to get double Assimilate off the Joachim. Just get as many engines down as early as possible. But yeah, missing the ball is yikes. Really, really sad to see.
Yeah, so we see the raiding fleet come down here, and Paya still adding more engines of his own on the board, as well as a little bit of tempo. Still has a couple raiders as well. He's always going to be able to set up this Blood Eagle, likely, as well as Bloodthirst with all the damage down that he's able to do. Morkvarg obviously playing for good value as well, being that there is a Joachim in ButtPlay's hand, and Leader 2 obviously playing for a good amount of value as well with that final say. So, obviously Pius looking in that commanding position. So
Paya at this point still expecting the Masquerade Ball, having not seen Joachim or Ku. Still fully expecting Masquerade Ball to come through. He's probably not feeling great about the situation. And then the leader comes in and finds a Raider. Could have found Blood Eagle, right? Blood Eagle there would have pulled Harold. So that was missed.
So it could have pulled Blood Eagle into Herald, and then could have Joachim'd into a poison for the max value, right? So just a lot of things missed out on in this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, obviously Morkvarg would have played for just a solid 6, the same amount as this Raider, but it would have played on deploy. I guess the Raider can kill the Hunter, which is something that Morkvarg could not have done. I think Paj is feeling pretty good about the longer this round goes on. Obviously, the more it becomes clear that ball has been missed. I just feel like this series was kind of scuffed, man. Like, Gravesh has worked so hard to get to this point. That's what you guys have got to remember. We're like 4 months into the competitive season, right? Gravesh has been playing the game for 4 months just to then come to an open and miss every card imaginable, it feels like.
So, it's unfortunate, but also this is also in that same statement. You said just the beginning of the season. There's a lot more opens yet to qualify for, a lot more chances for these players to, have these better moments where they are able to play well and both draw well. Because that's the nature of card games. You got to both play and draw well too. So,
yeah. This really has been particularly bad for old Colin, though. Man, what is going on with Colin's curtains? I'm sure we could see the window at some point. We could see the window at some point, right? But he's like moving it. Is he moving his curtains in between games? What is this guy doing?
I can't answer that.
Outrageous behavior. We could. He showed us his window at one point. I'm sure of it.
I feel like I'd agree, but I don't know. I'm too drunk at this point to really have a concrete stance on this. Hey, Spessy. So I'm not gonna lie. I saw this in chat from who was it? I don't know. Jaggerus. Yes. Wonderful caster here.
Who's that? Who's that?
Hyrule Alchemist. I can't believe I forgot about this. Does Hyrule Alchemist potentially give you an out?
No.
I
mean, what are you going to high roll into?
Ice?
Deck?
Iced?
I mean, it could be a carryover play, right? But you're still probably lacking.
My headphones.
If this was round 2 and you were to deny ice, maybe, but I just don't even think that would matter. I think it's that big of a difference. Paj has probably got the end. I mean, to be fair, you could still be expecting Ball, Roderick plus Ku being the hand. So he still doesn't have the intel on 2/2 cards, right?
But with missing Ball, is that the only line you can kind of go for at this point? Do you just say hey, I miss Ball, in the only possible way, even just with, maybe he did the math beforehand if he steals ice, if it wins, I don't know. But but yeah, this Emissary not doing a whole heck of a lot either. So we'll see what ends up happening. like I said, if Paya waits a whole nother card here, and Gravish just stalls, potentially with going coup here, maybe, then going Alchemist is a potential line. Obviously, you don't want to really Joachim into Herald or Joachim into Iced, as it's not like the best possible play. But seems to go for Alchemist in terms of his stalling play here. So we'll see what Paya decides to answer with. Is he going to sit on this Blood Eagle for Ice for much longer, or is he going to potentially take this Morkvarg or this Vabjorn yet? This Vabjorn representing this War of Clans +2 yet, and War of Clans is basically just this on-crate warrior at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, look at the points difference, right? 24 points. Yeah, 20. I had to double check. 24 points, and Gravesh just didn't even find his flipping ball, mate. At this point, Paj could still expect ball because a hand of ball plus Roderick would be able to proc ball fully, because you could go ball plus Roderick into coup, right, all in one turn. So Paj is probably still anticipating. This is the moment to look out for the reaction from Paj when he realizes that ball has been completely missed. Like, let's just zoom in here on to see what Paj looks like, because this is the moment that ball is not going through. I'm really looking forward to seeing Paj's reaction. I'm predicting a bit of a big puffy cheeks and sort of a bit of a shaking head, but a little bit of a laugh, but also a bit of sadness at the same time. On the side of Colin, not looking too happy. Alchemist onto the Iced could maybe help him, but ultimately he's still playing a 6-point play, right? A 7-point, he's going to proc both assimilates.
Yeah. And I
What's he
mean,
going to go for?
Taking his pings, is he going to go potentially for the Alchemist here? I believe he was sitting there kind of doing the math on seeing what he can potentially beat in this situation if Paya indeed does have Iced in deck. Decides to go for the Viper Witcher Mentor here, playing for 11 points plus that assimilate, so playing for some decent value, but Paya coming in with his Vabjorn into War of Clans now is going to come down for this 6-point on-crate warrior, resing it from graveyard, dealing that 3 damage.
Paya now has that intel that Masquerade Ball has been completely and utterly missed. We saw like a little bit of a puff out of the cheeks. He has his Blood Eagle into Iced set up. He has the leader ability ready to go. On the side of Gravesh, he's got the coup, which is going to be hit onto this Joachim. The best card he could possibly find from this would be, well, he's got a Lock, he's got a Fangs, he's got a Nausicaa. Therefore, the best card is just going to be a simple Lock by a single point here.
The thing is, Paya was continuously trying to make sure that he would have like multiple twos, as well as the Bloodthirst after Blood Eagle, so that Ice just plays for the maximum amount of value, and there's no possible way it could be denied. So. And we see Grav shuffling back Raiding Fleet into the deck to try and make this Iced a little bit worse, obviously. Trying into Raiding Fleet for 0 points as well off the Iced. Hoping that might get him the points he needs to kind of make it through this.
Yeah, and the Joachim pulling the Sergeant, which is 1 point less than the potential Sergeant. The potential Lock. In fact, 2 points because the armor would have actually been relevant. So 2 points less. Does obviously top deck the Raiding Fleet, which Gravesh planned. However, the Jutta is going to be discarded. Bloodthirst 2 is available.
Just a couple points
here. It's going to be 24 points, 5-point game, and that is a loss by just 5 points for Gravesh here, and he missed his flipping Masquerade Ball.
So look at
bad.
Here's the thing we're kind of talking about. Look at Paya just won, and look at the expression on his face.
Yeah,
he knows.
This was a terrible series. I hated every moment of it.
Especially with a friend, too, right? It makes it even that much worse. That it's just and this is something Paya has been pretty vocal about, right? Is this, how it feels often bad to win a lot of these games.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Gravesh, man. This is probably one of the worst series I've ever seen of Gwent, honestly. It was really bad. Like, I hated every moment of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not ideal. You know, just missing a ball straight up. It's just like, you know, not ideal situation. I mean, what can we do but kind of move forward from here and hope that, you know, things continue to get balanced and worked on so that we have the situations that obviously reward the, you know, reward the you know, the most optimal plays put into it too, right?
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't think, you know, I'm hammered, to be honest, but I don't think either player played like absolutely terrible to the point where it's like, you know,
Mhm.
so